The thing that has stuck with me about that first experience was the moment that I realized I did not want to die anymore. And if I didn't want to die anymore, then just possibly somebody that I loved and cared for wouldn't want to die either. And that is exactly why I created an entheogenic sanctuary. May this medicine heal your mind, your body, and your soul. My name is Justin LaPree. I'm a combat veteran. I started a nonprofit organization, a sacred medicine sanctuary, which serves the military, the veteran, the first responder, Gold and White Star widows, and their families. So I got out of infantry school September 7th of 2001. The morning of September 11th, me and a few other Marines watched the towers fall. And that was a paradigm shift in my reality, and things got real fast. I was there in 2003 for the invasion of Iraq. We were really fighting, Saddam's army at that point. There was a lot of people that surrendered. Redeployed back in 2004 into Fallujah, and that was a totally different experience. We were fighting individuals that blended in with the commoner that was there. The level of stress and alertness was vastly different. You don't know who's going to pop out behind a corner and try to kill you. So you're always alert. You're always looking behind your back, but it means your survival. And it's really hard to unplug when you come home. And the military did a really shitty job at helping us transition back into society. Quickly started to self-medicate. I was in the VA system. I was on a ton of medications, to include Oxycontin, which became a escape for me. Started using methamphetamine. I didn't want to fall asleep. So I didn't want to have night terrors. I didn't want to have flashbacks. And I moved up to New York City, wound up homeless. And 6 months on the street, I was extremely embarrassed. I was ashamed. And so I really took meeting the Wounded Warrior Project to get on my feet, and it changed my life. I had some really great friends on the Austin Fire Department that had been talking to me for years to try to get me to come down and apply. And I'm super grateful that I did. It really did start to shine a light on my purpose. I really enjoyed helping people in a moment of need. But it was super traumatic. How do you not revive a child and then come home and climb into bed with yours? And we can't talk about it. We don't feel safe talking about it. The machismo culture. So we just compartmentalize. We meet it with dark humor. My divorce started in September of 2018. And that's really where my wheels started to fall off, which led me to my suicide attempt on Veterans Day of 2018. I became dead set on it throughout that shift. And I had already pre-written notes to both of my children, said some final words, said a prayer, and I took my .45, I put it in my mouth, I took a deep breath, and I pulled the trigger. And I opened my eyes and I was still there. And I couldn't fucking believe it. I always had a full magazine. I always had a round in the chamber. So somebody unloaded my magazine and decided that I deserved a second chance. What a beautiful gift. And because of that moment of pure love from one human to another, I get to see my daughter walk down the aisle. I get to play catch with my son. Moments that I almost robbed them of because I thought I was doing the right thing. And so, yes, I took some time off. A friend of mine gave me a book, How to Change Your Mind by Michael Pollan. And damn, I'm so glad I read that book. I remember my first mushroom ceremony that I facilitated for myself. These medicines allowed me to re-experience traumatic events in my life and to grieve them and to feel them instead of suppressing and compartmentalizing. And by doing so, I could move through it. And I came out of that experience 6 hours later with a belief in God again, with love for myself and gratitude, and it completely changed my life. My idea was to provide a container and a program for Americans to heal themselves within our borders, for they have sacrificed so much already. It is our turn as a country to say thank you for that sacrifice. It is time for us to serve them. 3, 2, 1, exhale. God is nature. These ancient medicines, they're here to guide us to becoming our true self, to expand our consciousness. And as evidence has shown, highly effective at treating trauma and treating mental health. Highly effective. And when I started this organization, I knew that if I could just save one life, it was going to be worth it. Because I wasn't just saving that person's life. I was saving the lives of the entire family. Putting an end to generational traumas. This is the greatest gift that I can give somebody. The gift of a second chance. And a desire to want to live. A family. A band of brothers and sisters who are continuing to support each other for the rest of their lives.